he always understood the culture of Georgia basketball was built on his players and us being a family. I be overseas, you play for Georgia, overseas, we instantly connect. We taking care of each other.
Hi, I'm Corey Baldwin.
And I'm Dan Searle, and we're back with a new Off the Beaten Path, a podcast for basketball coaches living in obscurity, working in obscurity, and those who have made it out of obscurity.
And this podcast is a place for storytelling, learning, connecting, and food for thought and food for the belly. And we have a good one today, Searle. Tell us a little about it.
We sure do. Welcome to Coach Lady Grooms. She's been off the beaten path, but she's also been at the top of the basketball world in both high school and in professional hoops. And we'll talk about those university days at UGA. Coach Grooms, Coach Lady Grooms is a baller, a teacher, a trailblazer, and as we like on this podcast, a storyteller. Coach Lady, welcome, and we're really excited to have you on with us.
Thank you. I'm excited as well.
All right, so let's get in it. Let's go ahead and start. We'll start with the old Georgia days. So where did you play high school at before you went to Georgia?
I'm from Atlanta, city school, public schools. I was in Sylvan High School in Atlanta. I'm an Army brat, so my senior year, unfortunately, we moved to Texas.
Really?
So I was at Fort Hood, Texas, my senior year.
Wow.
And I almost went to University of Texas. But
Wow,
my
you was
mom
almost a Longhorn?
Yeah, they decided, to move back to Georgia. So, and that's when I went to University of Georgia because of Andy Landers. It's the main reason.
Yeah, let's talk about Coach Lander. Let's talk about legendary coaches in the business in general, and especially in women's hoops. Why? Why'd you go to UGA because of Landers? What was the hook? What was the pull there?
Yeah, whenever you see Coach Landers, you call him boss. He'll know you know me. And I had everybody calling him that. Everything about him remind me of not like a father figure, but in a way, like a mentor. When he came to my house in Texas, he was running the house. He told me to turn off my TV. Then he went in my closet, asked me, do I wear this kind of clothes every day? I was like, no, I don't wear tennis shoes every day. And I just thought that was interesting how he was. He asked me about books. What do I read books? I was like, what in the world? It's an interview? I'm supposed to be asking him questions. I was like, you're not the boss of this, And ever since then, I started calling him that. So it's funny because my mom said me and him kept going back and forth. But that's the I guess that was the best in-house visit that I had when I was in high school because we kept going back and I debated him because, he still thinks he knows everything, So it was funny. And I just realized that he was going to care about me. That was important to me, that he was going to care about me outside the basketball. And he does. Every step I done went from overseas to coaching, he's been that reference. He's been that big voice to get me in a lot of those doors.
How about that? Let's stay there at UGA with Coach Landers. You talk about the recruiting visit at home. What are some other stories? Some of the players you played with, some of the Landers moments on the court there in Stegman or in practices?
Yeah.
What can you tell us there?
One day, he should be arrested. He made us run like 100 and some sprints, like nonstop. He started putting it on the thing, 88, 89. I mean, that's crazy when you think about it now. But back then, man, you just had to do it. I heard Coach Baldwin is crazy too, so he probably liked that, but
He's smiling over there, you're right.
Yeah, and then for 1 month, you think about a college game of 1 month. You probably played 12 games. We had to play in the same uniform. He said because we was stinking on defense. So we might as well be stinking. Everybody spraying stuff, trying to make it. We could not, only thing we could do is air them out in our locker room, and that locker room was disgusting to smell. I mean, for like 12 games.
That's classic.
Like 12 games, we had to wear our uniforms, our old uniform, because we were stinking. They even put it in USA Today, and that just really made them feel good.
He liked that, I bet.
No doubt.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
But he made a lesson. I mean, we learned, I mean, I started off that way, but that's how he is. You know, he's always trying to teach something in a different way. And after a while, our defense got better, and we were still in them dang stinking uniforms, you know. But it made everybody understand how to help him recover, how to communicate. He said we were just too quiet, you know, nobody's helping, people getting beat. And after a while, you understood it was true, you know. So it made a statement. But
if we're going to step on defense, we're going to smell like it too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's known. I mean, the Lady Bulldog, everybody know he did that. He's crazy.
He's crazy, but that's an example that, you know, like you said, may not work in today's day and age, but it's an example of the high expectations that he had for those teams.
Right.
You guys had lots of success. Can you talk about that, the success on the court?
I think, I mean, I'm biased because I love, you know, UGA, but I think the SEC in women's basketball is one of the best conferences. So it's always competitive. And, you know, I came after Teresa Edwards and everybody. So there was already like a reputation that you had to live, you know, up to, you know, and Tammy Jenkins, Adrian Shua, Saudi Rancho, like, I mean, it was ballers, you know. Unfortunately, he never won. We went to the Final Eights, the Final Fours. We never won, but it wasn't because of him. Everybody, like, I can meet a Georgia player right now. Maybe it was an 8-year difference. Do you know we connect? That was his job, you know, to make sure that everybody that played for him knew that they made that G. You walk in Georgia when Boss was there, oh, Boss saying, come here, giving you stuff. Hey, come speak to the players. Like, so they always, because I would meet somebody say, oh, I remember you used to come speak. Like, he always understood the culture of Georgia basketball was built on his players and us being a family. I be overseas, you play for Georgia, overseas, we instantly connect. We taking care of each other, you know? And that's what I think. When I first started working with the WNBA as a scout, Teresa Edwards was the one who helped me, you know? And I never played with her. So I just feel like the Lady Bulldog program was a family, you know, because of him.
And he keeps everybody connected. That's spectacular. That's great to hear. That's hard to do. Obviously, when you've got a coach who's there that long, it's got to be a choice. And clearly, Coach Landers has done that and built that up. That's really good to hear.
He's one of the best now. I mean, he got crazy stories. He told me if he came back to coach now, he could do it. Because, you know, it's different now how you coach. You know, you yell hard one time, somebody may go around and say, you know, they something wrong. You know, he intimidated. Back then, you could coach a little different. You know, it makes you stronger too, I think. But he told me he could do it.
Yeah. Speaking of coaching a little stronger, hate, love, or respect from you and from Coach Landers for Pat Summitt. Those Tennessee teams are probably one of those walls that you kept coming up against and battling against. What was the feeling for Pat Summitt from you guys?
Well, I think that at the beginning of my career, there was a hate at Boss and Pat Summitt. You know, but I think I was leaving even before. When we played against him, it was different. Like, he hated to lose against her because he's from Tennessee, you know, and they knew each other. Like, it's like they grew up in that whole era. But I think he respected her a lot more. I didn't think it was intense. At first, it'd be like we just had to beat her, you know. But I think it was a different respect for her. And then I played on USA basketball teams, so she would come and speak. Oh, I was in awe. I mean, she makes you want to play. Let's go, baby. Let's run through this goddamn wall. I mean, she was something special, you know, as far as her, the way she communicated, the way she inspired you, you know. So, so then I realized there's no secret why she was successful.
Well, tell us a little bit about those USA basketball days. Give us some of the girls you played with. And where you went. You know, in those teams.
USA basketball, we played in Spain. Dawn Staley, Lisa Leslie, we were on that team. Like a Pan Am team, I think, that we won. So Penny Moore, Penny Toller, the Georgia Tech coach that had to quit, Michelle Joseph.
Michelle Joseph, from Purdue.
That's when, and Lisa was in high school. So me and Dawn were sophomores in college one time, and Lisa Leslie was a senior in high school. So,
Before going to USC. How about that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the USA at that point, that's the era of me and Don and Carla McGee, Nikki McCray. Everybody was fighting for position. Andrew Stinson, fighting. That was a hard notch then. I remember Cheryl Mill even came out to one of those tryouts, tried to come back, That was a good era for us basketball and girls, and Michelle Marciniak. I mean, USA basketball was a big deal, because then it didn't matter that, you were at Virginia, I'm at Georgia, you at Tennessee. When we went to that, we were together.
That was boys, the max on women's basketball, right? Playing for your country.
Yeah. We were all together, and we supposed to win. See, that was back then when, the girls had to win. So it was always pressure. You never want to be that team that lost, So, but yeah, USA basketball, just traveling, so when I did go overseas later on in life, I was ready. I wasn't like, oh my God, going overseas, because I had did it for 3 years while I was in college. So great experience. You can't. I mean,
what was that like when you went overseas to play, knowing that your dream probably to play pro ever since you were a kid, I assume.
Yeah.
And now to do it, but to have to leave your country, that's something.
At that point in 1993, you didn't feel sad about leaving your country. You was happy that you was continuing to play, and then you were gonna make money playing.
Yeah,
that was the norm. It was the norm, right?
Yeah,
that was
it was the norm. It was the norm. Trying to get an agent, So if you got a job, because you got to realize how difficult it was. Only 2 Americans can be on the team, so you had to be one of the top so you even get over there. Yeah. So it was and then with girls basketball, you see even the WNBA, you can play, you 38, 39, you can play in girls. So when I'm going overseas, you still got Jennifer Gillum and Teresa Edwards and you still got them overseas, So you're going over there with them and they ain't leaving no time soon. So to me, you didn't even think about it as a negative leaving the country. You were like, whoa, I'm going.
I got a contract. Yep.
Yeah, so it was a blessing, to be honest.
What are some of those spots that you played overseas that you remember you want to highlight for our listeners here? What do you remember? Teams.
The best experience I had was in Italy. I was near an Army base. The name of the team, I think, Familia, something. Familia. Looked like his family, but it had IA on it. So that was one of the top teams too, but it was near the Army base. So I was able to be American. I mean, yeah, because my dad still had my
Army base. You mean a U.S. Army base over in Europe?
Yeah, U.S. Army base. So I would go to the commissary, the PX. I mean, all my food was American food, And then if you wanted to go to a movie, socialize. So when I was in Italy for those 3 years, it was one of the best because I was constantly around Americans, constantly around it. And then that helped me get to the WNBA. Luckily I was over there in 96 or 95, right when the WNBA was trying to establish itself. They didn't want to draft from all the college kids because they wanted the product to be, competitive and look good. So they went overseas. I'm in Italy playing against Cynthia Cooper. That was one. So, all of them were over there. So that's where Renee Brown and the agent of the WNBA, they came to see the Italian league. So, and luckily I was in the Italian league, and that's how it all came. Like all the big namers, I was telling you, it was so many good girls then. I think the first draft had 16 players.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The initial WNBA initial draft, there were 16 players. You're right, and you were one of them, along with Cynthia Cooper, Rebecca Lobo,
Cheryl Swoops. Wow. Yeah, I mean Teresa Weatherspoon, Bridget Gordon. Bridget Gordon was the king in Italy. She was on the top team. You couldn't tell Bridget nothing. Right? So, and there was so many good players. I remember they said they were going to take a lot of the Italian out our league, and the draft computer was up then. And I remember number 2, then they got some foreigners. Okay, I didn't think Andrew Stinson, it was good players. I thought even if I didn't get in that draft, it didn't matter to me because I was going to go try out. I already was the top in the ABL. I decided not to do the American Basketball League. because everyone kept telling me and Don Staley are still good friends. And she kept saying the WNBA was going to happen because of the 96 Olympic team. They knew it. So I didn't sign with the ABL, went overseas. So to me, I knew if I got a tryout or whatever, I would make a team. I was confident. But number 12 came around, somebody named called, I'm at Bridget Gordon's house. Me, Rhonda Mapp, all the good ones. Number 14 called, I'm trying to get some food. I ain't worried about it. Because in my mind, I said, y'all may get it, but I'm coming. I'm coming back. Hey, number 16, Lady Hardmon.
Yeah.
Everybody turned around. They were like, Lady. I said, what? Now, that's the thing about not being in America, because you couldn't go hug your mama and say, what? I was like, they said my name. Everybody was like, you got drafted to Utah. I was like, what? There, I'm so mushy. I'm crying. And then the phone calls expensive, but I had to call everybody in America.
I did.
Hey, I'm in the WNBA. I'm gonna be Utah Star. I mean, I'm calling everybody. So that was a big moment for me in Italy,
Right.
So I was excited to be a part of it. Everybody was excited for the WNBA.
So you played in Spain, Italy, France, Hungary, and I got to ask you this, was Utah more foreign to you than those places?
Utah was different. It was.
I can see that.
And the
Being
way
from the South.
the way we, it's the way we stayed, where we stayed at, and it was like a different world for real. Not saying negative, but it was.
Yeah, it's just
it was different. It was beautiful the way it looked, I mean, you walk out the apartment, out in the snow. I mean, it's beautiful, but it was different,
Was that the most snow you ever saw?
Yeah, and I didn't want to stay in Utah either. So I was happy I got traded to Sacramento.
Now you got traded. Where did you get traded to?
Sacramento.
Sacramento. Ooh, so that was more of a city, right?
That was the first trade that ever happened in the WNBA. That was
Really?
the first
Ever
one.
in the WNBA.
Wow. So you're a trivia question.
Yeah. I was the first one. It was me and Chantel Tremitiere.
These are the early years of the WNBA, from the initial player allocation to the first trade.
Exactly.
How was that league growing? Was it growing quickly? What was the talent like? There was a lot of people coming and watching because it was new and exciting.
Right.
But what are the stories from those early years of the WNBA?
I mean, you know how when people talk about their era and people be like, oh, whatever. But I do believe that when the league first started, because it was so new, I thought it was promoted better. I mean, think about those commercials when them little girls be like, who got next? And that little girl be like talking to her, can you play? Like the little sassy little girl talking to Lisa Leslie and Rebecca. Like, it was a family atmosphere and they promoted it. It was on TV, it was on Oxygen, it was on Life, it was on ESPN, it was on Channel 2. I do think that maybe the first 8 to 10 years, it was like very impactful. It was very in the regular social norm. Like, people knew about the WNBA. And then I don't know if the marketing, left. I don't know. I think it's not like my daughter know about WNBA because of me. And I say, let's look at it. But if I go to my team now and ask them, when last time you been to a WNBA game? They'll be like, I ain't went. But when it first started, it was packed.
Right.
It was packed. I mean, they would close out the top part, but think about an arena, even the whole bottom was packed.
Yeah.
But I think it was exciting. Coaches, remember Cheryl Miller was the Phoenix Sun coach.
Yeah.
She was already a personality herself, So it had marketable people. I hate that WNBA didn't start this year like it should have, because Sabrina from Oregon, I felt like the talent that came out of college this year, girls, will probably bring it back again.
So, yeah, big time. Ionescu is fun to watch. She can play.
Yeah. The girl from Texas A&M was coming out. So I felt like there was a lot more talent with the South Carolina girls coming out. It would have been better. Just got to get better marketing. I think at the beginning, I mean, Silver. I don't know him, so I'm not saying it. But I think David Stern, it was his baby. David Stern did it. Yeah, he paid the first 5 years of our contracts was done from the NBA. From that side, I think when it becomes separate, ownership, that's when I think it changed. But when the NBA backed it, it was a difference.
Mm-hmm. Like here in Atlanta, the Hawks and the Dream are separate ownership groups. It's not a package. But let me ask you what could be a tough question. You coach girls basketball. You've done that for years here in the state. How much responsibility do the high school coaches on the girls' side especially have for connecting their players to the WNBA? Not to play, but just to be fans versus going to a Hawks game. No, we're going to go to a Dream game. Right.
I think that's what's probably helping the Dream sustain, to be honest with you. Because, 1 year that I went with Arlington, I remember saying Westland, Lovett, who was it? Cedar Shows, because I remember talking to those people. I remember, they brought their teams there. And it was good, but think about it, most time tickets were free or whatever. You need more of the families going back again. But I do think, with the AAU, right, because it's such a big deal, I wish that the AAU would, they spend all that going every Sunday. Hey, let's take our teams to the Dream game. We have to support it to keep it going. It's a business. If it's not making any money, I don't care what people say, it can't continue to go. What made it good at the beginning, because of it, it was so new and it was family oriented, boom, everybody was going. Right now it's watering down a little bit, which bothers me. But I think girls basketball, if y'all want to be honest with you, I think girls basketball is taking a hit. From high school, everything, I think it's taking a hit because now you have volleyball. And if you play volleyball, you can get a scholarship. Back in the day, you could do it.
But you play year round, right? Mm-hmm.
Right, and they play year round. Then now clubs are saying, sorry, MJ, now clubs are saying you can't, they advise them not to play basketball. So now you got 6'2", 6'4" girls all on the volleyball, killing it, and not playing basketball. And we had a meeting about 2 or 3 years ago with Norcross Beaufort. Gene is very big, and we all talking about it. And my baby plays volleyball too. It's a great sport. Not to say, she loves it. And when I tell you, I love volleyball too. But I hate now, this generation, this era, they all specialize. I play baseball. I can't play football. I play baseball. I can't run track. Back in the day, I played every sport. I played softball. If they had a volleyball team, I'd have played that too. I ran track. I did basketball. But now everybody is specializing. So it's taken away from girls basketball. Again, I'm biased, but I think basketball is the hardest. You can play volleyball, hit that ball, slam it. But with basketball, you got to have hand and eye coordination. You got to have footwork. You got to know how to think. You got to be strong. You got to know how to pass the ball. It's a team sport too, that you got to deal with your teammates. It's a lot. Basketball is hard. So if I'm a parent and I'm going up my little Susie Sue, am I going to get her in basketball? Because it's definitely a lot of teaching. Or do I put it in volleyball? Do I put it in softball? When it's one area of a body. Basketball, I tell anybody, if a girl is really good at basketball, she can play anything. That's how it is. So so when people say, oh, I don't like basketball, you didn't want to do the work. Basketball is work, and that's what I think is a hit.
Back to what you said, though, the specialization, that's a whole nother conversation that we could have. And the research that's out there right now from USA Basketball and the NBA even says, don't specialize, play multiple sports. And you referenced it, Coach Lady, about different parts of your body moving. It's not just one motion. So that is unfortunate that a volleyball and even a soccer pulling away from those basketball.
Yes, it is. For as far as girls, and then AAU, maybe a lot of AAU people on this thing, but AAU has messed it up. AAU sucked a little bit,
And you coach it.
Yeah, and I know, and that's why I coach it. So I give it, I'm going to do it, instead of being, how people always complain about something, then why am I complaining? Am I trying to help it? So I got to be the little solution too.
Yeah.
And when I do it, we're going to do the fundamentals. It's not about you just getting out there pressing and playing. Everybody, you know, if you athletic, let's press, lay up. That ain't going to help you on your level. You know, it's got to be some smartness in it. So I'm about teaching the game. Ever since I saw Coach Pop coach with San Antonio, I remember Tim Duncan and all them afterwards working on fundamental. I'm seeing him shoot that bank shot over and over. And then one of the coaches said, this is their vitamin C. I said, what? That's what they call it. Like, they have to do this. Tim Duncan, you know, they have to do this before they leave the gym. Daily, 15 to 20 minutes. Hey, man, you talking about the pros still learning fundamentals, but then you go to an AAU and they ain't doing is playing. Like, so how do they get better? And if you're going to look 5 years from now, you're going to say, Lady had a podcast with me. 5 years from now, when you look at NBA, it's going to be way more corners because they're doing the fundamentals right. You know you're going to see more and more.
You were out there and saw that.
Yeah, you know, and that's why you see more. Think about 10 years ago, you probably had 1 or 2 foreigners. Look at it now. They're all coming in. And why do they come in to be successful? You know, a rookie may take 1 or 2 years as a regular American, but those foreigners coming in because they learn early how to do it the right way, how to pass the ball right and left, bounce pass, how to read a defense. Yeah,
so
AAU stunning us.
Let's talk about that. Let's take it away from AAU. You're trying to be part of the solution. You're coaching now at Landmark. You've spent years at GAC. What is your coaching philosophy? How do you approach the game with your teams? Are you doing fundamentals the whole practice? Are you letting them run up and down? What's a practice look like in a season progression for you, Coach?
Right. That's a good question. And I do what I'm telling you. We spend half of my practice on fundamentals, you know, because they're little kids. You know, I'm not going to give them 100 plays. You think they're going to really run them plays? You know, I mean, she's Louise. No, we're going to do it.
Right? It's just a reality.
Yeah. Right. But if I start teaching them, you know, we doing ball handling every day. So when I start adding the play concept, they understand it. You know, we may do drills when they got to pass to a coach cut, and then the coach is giving it back to them. So now when you get that offense in about, you know, UCLA and you got to cut, they know it. We've been doing that drill every day. You know, I do drills when they, like a horns, when they got to come around off the D-mans to shoot. So when I do my play horns or twirl, they done that over and over. You know, so to me, I almost take my offensive concept of offense plays and then I make it into drills. And we do it nonstop. You know, and then we're going to do conditioning. Probably not Coach Lander's conditioning or Core Baldwin conditioning, but we are doing conditioning because that's a key too. You know, to be in shape, physically strong. So I'm doing both. And so I'm still a part of that old school generation as far as my coaching, but I relate to them well. So that's my new in me. That's why people continue to want to come playing for me because I do relate. I still want them to have fun, but we're going to do it the right way. You know, it's not going to be just playing. And on days open gym, I do let them play, but I let them play with me still looking. And if it get too raggedy, y'all don't really want to play. Let's go on and wrap this up. You know, it need to be organized. I mean, sometimes as, you know, we older, you don't think about it, but think about when we used to play pickup. You play pickup with older people. It was organized because if you did something crazy, they were like, man, she don't want to play. If I'm playing with those guys, hey, the floor was always spaced, you know, but if you go now, if I take my little, I take her to go try to play pickup, and I say, wow, all y'all just dribbling, then shooting. Everybody, you know, that's why I said older people still can beat them because basketball requires that. So if you smart and you young, you say, oh, that joke old school. Well, he got it in. You know, so my philosophy is to teach the game from square one in every practice because I'm dealing with kids that hopefully gonna go to college and play ball. And I don't need them saying, they don't even know how to hedge on a pick and roll. They don't even know how to commit, you know. No, mine's gonna know all those little things, you know, and that's what makes the game fun too. You know, so when a team is right. Yeah, so I think it's fun when you understand the game and you fundamentally ready to play. You know, people quit when they don't want to do the work, because it's work. You know.
Well, lady,
But
let's
it's
talk a
fun,
little bit about this. I'm gonna brag on you for a minute. So you won 5 state championships at Arlington, and that was GISA, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then you went to GAC. Y'all were state runner-ups and made the Final Four another time. And then you're coming into your second year at Landmark, but those are all kind of where you've been in coaching. But before that, you were doing some work with the New York Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And one year, I think when you were there, you were actually assistant, correct? You were like on the court, regular assistant with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And before that, you had done some scouting and player development with Sacramento, right, where you played.
Right.
So you jumped around. You've been in the pros, and then you went to high school. So I was kind of setting it up. How has it been difficult for you being such a great player, being with the pros, coaching the pros, and now come all the way down to GISA and coach players who maybe aspirations are not to do that? You know,
Right.
how was that tough for you making that change?
It wasn't as tough, but you know, when I went to New York, I met a guy that you coached.
Yeah, Tony Douglas, right?
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, Douglas brothers. We got to get them on here, by the way, Searle. But yeah, Douglas brothers, they're Clayco legends, man.
Yeah.
Even more so than me, even though I try to say I'm.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
Worked hard.
Yeah, he's the best, man.
The reason why we started talking, he used to be in the gym early, just getting work in, just shooting. And when we started talking, then I was like, Corey Baldwin. I said, my godson played me. He good people. I went. But I tell everybody, me and Don Staley are like weird buddies, and Lisa. Again, that UGA basketball, just and I told them all the time, if you have people like me willing to go to the grassroots, how will the game really develop? There are so many unqualified coaches that are almost forced to coach girls basketball on some levels. You know, I'm the science teacher. I'm the science teacher. They needed a coach. Are those girls really getting what they need? No, because you're not really invested. Me and Don Staley, South Carolina, you know, we're still buddies because of USA Basketball. You know, Lisa, we're still buddies. And I said to them when they asked me about going to college from the WNBA, and I said, no, you know, my baby was young then too. And I wanted to coach her one day. And I said, if you didn't have people like me that's quality and qualified to coach girls basketball, then we're going to be getting hit even more. You know, the bottom line is you got to have people in the grassroots that love it, that's invested, that's not just teaching girls basketball, but also being young, strong women. You got it down there, you know? So if everybody said, oh, no, we're going to go, I'm going to college, I'm going to pro, then what do you have? You know? So that's just like you. I mean, you're a coach. I'm sure you were successful. I'm sure people, hey, Corey, why don't you try to go so-and-so? Go to the big school. But how about if you did that, then where's the quality then if you went to a smaller school or a JUCO? You got to have those kind of coaches. And they're known. Everybody asks me about recruiting. I never recruit. Well, I'm a recruit because if a parent really is looking for a good high school coach, they'll find you because there ain't that many. You know? So that's, you have to have it. It's almost like in AAU, you got better coaches. You know, there's, you know, a requirement, a test or something, you know, to be coaching at that level because you're dealing with our young kids that need to be nurtured, not just physically, but mentally too. And that's what basketball, that's why I like basketball, because I get to teach mental stuff that you can equate to your life through this little game of basketball, you know, and that's why I like Coach Landers.
The whole person approach there. Yeah. And you probably drop in some of those Coach Landers moments too in your practices.
And I can attest to that because Lady has helped many boy players, you know, contacting me. Obviously I coached Adam McLeod, who's her godson that she kind of pushed down this way, but I've worked out other kids and some of them that maybe didn't work out here. She was still, you know, we would help them get somewhere else or whatever. And she's always calling me about that, and those are people she doesn't coach. So imagine how much she helps the ones that do, so that she does coach. So that shows you, you know, that she's in it for more than just the the accolades, although she has them. And she also coaches even the younger age now, starting 6 and 7, 7 and 8 AAU. So she's everywhere, pro all the way down to youth, and that's a true coach. All right, so let's get in it, Searle. We're gonna go quick lightning round, man. We're ready to get Lady. We're gonna find out a little more about her here and try to stump her on a couple of questions maybe. So we're gonna throw some at you. I'm a big foodie. I'm all about eating, Lady. So I'm gonna start it off. Where's the best place you ate when you were in one of your overseas stops? Spain, Italy, France, Hungary. You talked about eating at the Army base, but give me somewhere you ate that was a local place.
I can't remember the name, but France had some of the best food.
Really?
I like Italy because I like pasta and it's a different pizza there. But France was different. The taste of it, the pastries in the morning, the dinner. I mean, it was almost like even a small mom and pop store. Those meals look like, like something out of Houston's. Very, yeah. I definitely France was the best place to eat.
I like it.
And if you like pastries with chocolate and strawberry, anything in it, France is the one.
That's a place to be. Okay. Well, I'm bouncing back to basketball. You talked about fundamentals and watching Tim Duncan with the little reverse pivot bank shots. What is your favorite drill or activity? I'll give you mine. I love the mic and drill. Do mic and drill layups over and over. What do you have your players do? What's your favorite drill?
Listen, that's kind of cool. I do love the mic and drill. We have to do it every time. I like the mic and informed shooting. I just feel like that's the key. Yeah, you got to do it. And I do form shooting without the ball at the beginning. So they got to visualize them making the shots, doing the same technique, right? Then let's put the ball to it. Then we do the miking. It's something they do every time. You come to my practice, the first part of practice, that's what you're going to see. So I just feel like that's my standard, because they need to know how to shoot the ball well. And the mic and drill is so many different things you can do with it. Let's do a reverse to it, so it's teaching them how to score near that basket. So that's like my favorites. My standard. Yeah.
I always, when they get a little better, I like doing the 2-ball. So you lay and you catch, and you got a ball over here. You lay and you catch. You lay and you catch.
That's good. Yeah. Hey, none of mine did that yet, but now they gonna fake it.
But we go to that one as they get a little older, especially with a post. I like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's pretty good. All right, so give me I'm gonna put you on the spot here because I know I coached Adam for 2 years, and me and you talked a lot during those 2 years to keep Adam on the right page. You had to do you were doing assistant coaching from.
I know.
Give me your favorite Adam story when he was down here.
My favorite was when Adam told me he was gonna quit. He told me he was ready to come home. He said, "Hey, listen, I'm not a track player. This ain't a track team. All we do was run." I said, "That's all y'all." Then he told me about the ladder. You'll do 16 or something across, then it's 14. And he's like, "Hey, I'm tired. And I was on the phone. I said, "You ain't going nowhere." I said, "Nobody come to get you." I said, "You gonna sit your tail right there." I said, "You gonna run." I said, "It's gonna make you stronger." And to this day, that man, Adam, gives you so much credit. He said, "Later, if I was mature, I would have probably been a better player." And I said, "So now give it to Luke," because he has a little brother. That's the one I coach now. I said, "Give it to Luke. To him early. Tell him the truth." Yeah. That Bruce wanted to quit. He said, "I'm going, I can't take it. I can't take it. This ain't a track team, And I was like, Lord. I said, boy, called me with him yelling. He ain't called me with none of that. Just didn't want to run, and he was so athletic. It just made him, you really defined him in a great time of being a young man. Because he walked to you as a little wuss, a little just soft, and he came out stronger.
Yeah, that's neat. Now he's a big conditioning guy, which is fun.
Yeah.
That's
ain't
hilarious.
That funny?
Yeah. All right, Cyril,
tough love, and you grow from it, right? But they know you care, just like Landers with you, lady.
Exactly.
Hey, give me a quick answer on these. I'm going to go through 3 or 4 either ors for you. WNBA or women's basketball in Europe?
WNBA.
What do you pick? WNBA. Elena Deladon or LeBron?
I'm going with Deladon.
There you go.
That girl good, man. Skilled.
Here's the tough one. UGA football or Atlanta Falcons?
UGA, that's tough. UGA, baby.
All the way. And
Kirby
back
Smart.
to the basketball court. You're coaching. Is your team playing zone or are you playing man-to-man, woman-to-woman?
I play matchup a lot. So it's a lot of help, because in high school, you have to have 8 great athletes, So when you play the matchup, it gives them you have to learn the man principles. But then it's a zone concept of you always getting help. So when you get beat, your teammate better be there to help you.
I got your back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to finish it out. 3 quick ones here. Favorite place to eat in Athens?
Guthrie's.
Nice. Guthrie's, good sweet tea. I know that. All right. And then who's your favorite Bulldog? Any sport. Favorite, other than yourself, your favorite Bulldog? Player-wise, player that ever played. Basketball, football, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I would say I wasn't there, but I used to love looking at Teresa Edwards, highlights and looking at her stuff and just knowing the stories. And then Alec Kessler and Latera Green from the boys.
Yeah, good players.
And Alec Kessler, I think that's his nephew that was at Woodwood. Yeah,
North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alec Kessler was almost like a Tim Duncan. I didn't know it in my time, but he always was there working, shooting, and I used to come, I was like, man, he's always there. And it just made me want to work more. I always try to get to the gym early, so far as, and he did well as a player too, but I like the other stuff I like how he was studious. I like how he just did what he needed to do. Didn't matter what was going on, so that was one
great
of my
answer.
That is great. All right, and then the last one here, being in high school, what as a coach, what has been your I know you won 5 state championships, but what's been that one moment that you kind of look back on? Would it be the championships? Would it be a practice? Would it be a win?
Well, high school is, to me, there's always something that's just like the best because they kids, and can you think about it? When you tell them to do something and they're not sure and they're saying, what? And then in a game, when they actually do something that you have been teaching them, just the way they look and they look at you like, and I'm like, I told you it would work. Like every day is always something gratifying. And in Arlington, we won 112 games in a row. I thought that was a big deal. It got stressful because then the news started finding out, it's 99, it's 100. So they want to find how long she gonna go. And I thought that was a neat, little journey. Stressful but neat.
That is.
That is. They say you won 112 games in a row. That season almost. Mm-hmm. Definitely great seeing you, Coach Baldwin. Look forward, hopefully me and Coach Day, we path, move across each other soon. But I enjoy talking about basketball, periods.
And thanks to you, Coach Lady Grooms, for joining us today. It was great to hear both the stories from UGA, USA Basketball, WNBA, but also, and more importantly, just the message that you're sharing with the student athletes of how to work hard and how to grow from that. So for all of you out there listening, join us on social media also. You've got our Instagram, Off Beaten Path Podcast, and also on Twitter, Off Beaten Path with the _. That's our show for today. Thanks to Coach Lady Grooms for joining us.
Lady, we really enjoyed it. You were great. It's always great getting to catch up to you. And we're a show for those who want to coach, those who used to coach, those who are coaches, those who follow coaches, and those who hire and fire coaches.